The Israeli Supreme Court has delivered an impactful and certainly timely decision following years of legal debate and political wrangling, striking down in an 8-1 ruling a years-old regulation law that gave Israeli settlers the ability to take over and build upon private Palestinian land in the West Bank. If the settlers built there, the law said, quote, in good faith. Many settler families said they were duped. They believe they purchased the land fairly, they have documents, or they claim to have been misled by property negotiators. The court ruled the law clearly infringes on property rights and places an illegal preference for Israeli settlers over Palestinian residents on the land. With me in studio is Yehuda Schaefer, former deputy state attorney within the Ministry of Justice. Sir, thanks so much for being with us. I want to zoom into the argument here, which was we in good faith made these purchases. We didn't just come one day with a nail and some hammers and start building a home. We have documents. We believed we purchased these parcels of land. Why did the court almost uniformly reject that argument?
Well, to answer that, I need a few minutes of background, but I'll make it short. Israel's is considered a belligerent occupant in the West Bank, so Israeli law does not directly apply. What applies is the military law there, the old Ottoman law of land, and the Jordanian law. Under this law, and under the way it's been interpreted during the many years, the most famous case was the 1975, the Dwaykat case with regard to the Elon Moreh settlement, was that it's legal to settle in government land, but illegal to settle on private Arab land. And that was respected and accepted by all. The problem is that the land registry there is very deficient. And so, as you said, there were many cases where people in good faith bought land bought houses in settlements from the government. So there's two elements here: buying it from the government, the court says, and the good faith element. And only later did they find out that this was private land and not government land, and therefore this was illegal.
And there wasn't a unanimous decision. There was a dissent.
But what the court said was that these claims should be addressed on an individual basis. And there is an existing law under the martial law. There is an opportunity to give rights to bona fide, to people that bought in good faith, and this can be settled. What the court said was that this general law of there are at least 3,455 cases of such mistakes.
Yeah.
Enacting a law which uniformly justifies all of those is unconstitutional. And
because it's a blanket law.
Exactly. What the court said was we need to treat these one by one, okay. And that will be more fair and more, because the way to strike down a law in Israel, the appellants have to prove the law is for justifiable reasons, and it has to be proportionate. Here, the court said it's justifiable to try and help these bona fide, these people that were bona fide. They were not. But it's unproportionate to do so in such a blanket law. And let's deal with these cases one by one. And if they can prove that they did not know and they purchased it rightly from the government, etc., they might get rights.
Okay, so Mr. Schaefer, a lot of the legal precedent, certainly going back decades,
yes,
deals with military law from an occupation.
Yeah.
How could the wrinkle, certainly, of possible annexation in just a few weeks' time, how could that change everything here?
Well, once there's annexation, this will be Israeli law.
We just heard today, of course, the foreign minister saying it violates international law.
Well, I'm not sure it violates international law, but that we need a whole evening to discuss that. But let's say the Israeli parliament annexes some territory, as it has in the past with regard to the East Jerusalem or the Golan Heights. Yep. Israeli law will apply there. Mutandis mutandis will just apply, and the court will not question this. This is something the court always will accept this. Under Israeli law, you cannot just take land from anybody. So the same question will arise, and I think the same solution will be given. Let's deal with it on a case-to-case basis, and not, even though this was a systematic mistake and many people's lives and property are at stake, let's deal with it on a case-to-case basis that will be much more justifiable and will bring justice both to the Arab side, the Palestinian side, and to the Jewish side.
I want to ask a question about the timing. This was when this law was passed 3 years ago, almost immediately. The legality of it was challenged. It's been stuck in the courts for years. The timeliness of it, of course, coming just a decision, an 8-1 ruling, coming just really days before the government can proceed with the issue of annexation itself. What do you make of the timing?
Well, you're asking me not here as a legal expert, but from a political point of view. I really don't know. From my experience, the court is not very thoughtful in its political. The court.
They didn't rush through a decision or make because of the issue of.
I'm not sure. This is just this is the amount of time it takes. It was debated, deliberated. Maybe they made a special effort to give this judgment before the Knesset has to decide on annexation, so that they know what the situation is. It's part of it's out of fairness between the various arms of government. I don't think the court is playing a political role here. The court is very much in line with the old judgments of Elon Morey and others, which are saying we have to defend rights of the Palestinians, the basic rights of property, and that settlements are legal if they're built on government land, if they're built on private land mistakenly, and only this is found out later, then we have to deal with this on a case-to-case basis.
Mr. Schaefer, thank you so much for your expertise. Great to have you.